Hi, I guess. My name's Adam. I'm part of KeyLabs. We're going to showcase one of our projects that we've been working on right now. It's a VR tiny spa. So what we wanted to do was create a concept and take that concept from the idea to the prototype, and this is a small example of the spa as a 3D model, 3D printed, with the help of some makers, Brian Jeffrey. And then, after getting the idea designed conceptually, we started to draw it out. And we created a visual model of it. And this is actually a photo from our CAD model. And then we wanted to take it a step further and try to bring it into reality without incurring all the cost it takes to actually build it out. So what we did was develop a virtual model. And I'm going to put on the virtual headset. This is an HP mixed reality, Microsoft's HP mixed reality machine. And now I'm in the spa and I'm actually standing in the hot tub. Oh, this is kind of cool. And it does have jets. Gonna move outside. I see the skyline outline, the projector. Hopefully you can see this on the television screen. Over here we have our inflatable float tank. Right here, for an example, we have the massage chair, which is over here. Well, here's the massage chair, here's the massage table. We have our Himalayan salt. This looks like a television, and even though it says Samsung, it's actually an air purifier. Projector over there. And this is our basic model. And if we were to walk outside, which I don't know if I'm going to make it outside. Let's go outside. We can see the scenery, and right over there, we see the Space Needle. So that's a little tour of our first VR project. We're going to have many more to come. Next VR project we're working on, you can't see it in the corner, but it's going to come up. It's going to be a VR flight simulator that Mike Yang has been putting together as one of our key makers. And the VR flight simulator will allow players to fly and fight with the 99th Squadron to the Tuskegee Airmen during some of their World War II dogfights. So that's what's coming up.
The purpose of a VR spa.
What's the purpose of a VR spa? The purpose is so that you can build out the idea to its fullest extent without having to actually build it out. Because this would be an incredible spot to hang out and spend your time. And doing the analysis of this build out, it would cost around 85 grand. But how do we convince people the big idea? Well, you got to show it to them. So you build it out in your mind, you draw it out on paper, you build it out in a 3D model, and then we bring it to a virtual world where we can walk around it and almost feel it. And the next step after this would be to actually build it out. So the reason to do it in a VR setting is that we can build it out fast. It can take a week to build out a virtual model. The cost can be less than $1,000. Well, to build this out in real life, it would take about 3 months. The cost would be over 100 grand.
So my question is, you guys said that this was built in Unity?
Yes.
Is there any way to, I'm just thinking out loud, say like I wanted to build that out, is there any way to get any type of blueprints out of the Unity system, or will we just have to use the models and use some other system?
As a matter of fact, I think the model is actually built based on the blueprint. So the blueprint needs to be available first, and so the CAD model could be made off that blueprint.
So you're saying that many of these models were already built off their blueprints scale, so...
Yes.
And a lot of these components are readily available, already built, right?
Yes.
So the only thing you would have to figure out is how to... now you said this was created out of containers?
This is... The design is created based off a shipping container. So The scaled version of this would be inside a shipping container with all those components. So we took it from the idea of measuring a typical shipping container and finding the measurements, converting that into a floor model where we made sure those measurements were right, and then sticking in those components or those items like the chair, the float tank, the shower, and making sure those all could fit in those parameters of space, or in that parameter of limitation of space. And then after having that floor model, we transferred that floor model into a 3D model or a CAD. And then we outported it as an SKP file, and then we converted that file into a VR model, which you see now. So that
80K.
To build it out in real life? Yes.
And that includes all the components.
Everything in component, including the build out, including the shipping container, including doing some additional conversion to incorporate some special features, and mainly the large amount of water that it's going to have to take and heat up.
It's cool that you got a flotation tank in there because, I'd like to go with a flotation tank.
Yeah.
But I'm saying for 85K, all you have to do now is just run the numbers and figure out in a mini spa how many people you could serve in there, what kind of a membership you could have, and we'll basically justify that. That would be pretty cool, actually.
I have a calculation and a business model for that, and that's why this has been built, to give a better, full-rounded visual explanation to be an adjacent or parallel to the business model, to show as a proof of concept. Yeah, we can outline a whole bunch of numbers and line items on an Excel sheet proving profit, but what really sells you is seeing it and experiencing it. The next model will have a Amazon Alexa in it, and you'll be able to put on the VR headset, and you'll be able to say, Alexa, turn on the shower, and the shower will turn on. Alexa, turn on the sauna, and the sauna will turn on. Steam room. It'll say, Alexa, turn on a movie or play Netflix. The projector will turn on, and Black Panther will start playing on that screen. And that will be more aligned to how the real automated spa would work, is that you would be able to walk into it, and most of the features can be turned on or off by a voice command through an Alexa model or some other form of voice command.
Sorry.
So yeah, that's
Very cool.
project, bringing it to life.
Now, when you're talking about VR, explain a little more about the type of experience you can create inside of a VR space. Now, we had talked about creating historical spaces, such as, something with the Tuskegee Airmen, like a snapshot in history. So, as far as a learning experience would be concerned, which means that not only can you have just models in there, you can have animated models in there as well. Animated characters that you can interact with. Correct?
What about, I was homeschooled, and my dad always taught science and math. And the way he taught it was very engaging and very, like Bill Nye the Science Guy. So what if, and this is not a what if, this is more an answer to your question about what we can do other than just visual tours. We could have a science class where you put on your headgear and there's a science teacher, and he's telling you about how atoms work and how the different elements within molecules. And he's able to talk about an atom and then open up his hand and say, can you see the atom? Of course you can. Human eyes can't see it. But if we enlarge it and it becomes the size big enough to fit in his hand, and now he can talk about the elements of it, and he can even pass it to you, and you can catch it and then stop it and focus on the items and take it apart and put it back together and then pass it back to the teacher.
Okay. Here's an idea dealing with what Rico was interested in. He had something called the funk camp, where he wanted to teach young people how to play instruments as well as read sheet music, and also play old style funk music from the 60s and 70s and stuff like that, and then kind of merge it with the new hip hop and everything else. So this is what the funk camp would be like. But seeing this idea, I can even imagine a teaching experience that was built in VR that you could do exactly the same thing.
What happens if we gamified that experience of learning how to play an instrument, or just learning the history of instruments, and you learn a song on the guitar, and then when you're ready to perform the song, you have to put on your VR machine headset, and you perform the song on stage with the original band, and you take the spot where you're playing your instrument. So now you're actively engaging not just in the experience of playing the song, but with the team and the original artist. And now you're experiencing that time where it was being displayed. AKA, let's say you could play the guitar at a very good level, to the level that Jimi Hendrix played. Now you're on Woodstock and you have to perform. And now you've practiced, and you can pause it, you can start it, and we could even put...
Plays historically in Seattle.
Or in Seattle, yeah.
Like the Washington Hall.
Washington Hall, yeah.
Or 6 Stadium. Practice at.
I didn't know that.
6 Stadium doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah, we can create it.
But, you know, we get the picture. So let me zoom back up to the screen itself, and kind of move it around, Mike, so because we're kind of close up of the screen, so we can actually get an actual idea of what somebody is seeing inside of the VR headset. It's a little different when you have the headset on, because it feels like you're actually in the space itself.
You feel consumed, all of your senses, your sight, somewhat of your just touch, feeling like you're walking around, especially when you have the controllers, and then when there's sound, which I have to add sound into this, then 3 of your 5 senses are taken over.
So if we were to develop something like this, what kind of costs are we thinking about?
I could produce something like this, and especially when we were talking about in the last meeting, creating one that's a shipping container, but it's a Tuskegee Airmen. It's basically a portable museum. We could create a model of that portable museum for less than $1,000. So far, this has taken me about $800 to produce and iterate through all of these stages. That alone was $100 because of the printing time and how thickness. Some of it is lost. It could be more efficient in the development process because I went through a couple of people to do a couple of things.
A little more, because then we're going to talk about animation.
If we take it to the end, then you just add another 1,000. I could get it done for 2,000. Yeah. No, that's the key. We can have our own experiences for $2,000. And now when people are like, oh, I don't get it, you're like, okay, I'm not going to talk anymore. Let's just put on the headset. And then you're talking with Sam Burke, and you're like, wait, what? Sam Bruce. Yeah, I'm sorry. I keep on doing that. Sam Bruce. So you're sitting there. Yeah, we could create those experiences. I can create a full experience for $2,000, less than $2,000. And that's sound, that's animation, that's in a spot like this. It's not that hard. What it does take is money.
And how much would we have to invest into the VR equipment?
$1,000 for, actually it's 1,500 to make another computer like this, and then Mike said 300.
So we're looking at about create one experience in the computer, at least I'll round it out to about $4,000.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to add?
No. I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.